Good morning, everyone, and thank you for joining us today. My name is Steve Murray. Joining us shortly will be Dave Pimper. Dave is the uh, president of Lazarus Coaching, bringing your production back to life, if you will. And he is going to be talking about one of our most popular subject matters here for really many years now: Social Security claiming. We always have great turnout, a lot of folks come again and again just to pick up little nuggets of knowledge on Social Security claiming. And I think it makes a lot of sense. There's opportunity to share expertise and to grow your expertise and to grow your business and to help your current clients and to meet new clients with an expertise that not a lot of your fellow producers in the field have and is not available readily in many areas. So always good to brush up on your skills around Social Security claiming, maybe even take some time and see some ways that you can introduce that skill regularly to your current customer base and to folks that you would like to add to your customer base. So we're going to talk a little bit about all of that here today. During the course of the event, a poll to pop up. I ask you to just as quickly as possible give me a yes or no. There's no commitments here. If you commit to a yes, you're going to get something from us, or maybe get a phone call to set up a time to sit with Dave and talk about Social Security claiming and ways you can grow your business around it. If you tell us no, we will. It lets us know that you don't have that interest. We appreciate that. So don't be afraid to give us a quick answer on your on the polls that we send out. If you have any questions, go ahead and tap them in. We'll get them asked and answered. Usually we do try and get that handled a little bit towards the end of the event. And we appreciate all questions. What I know for sure is that you've had that question. There are probably about 7 or 12 or 15 or 20 other people on the line that have a very similar question that we can answer as well. So please don't hesitate to ask those questions as we go along. My name is Steve Murray. I'm the president here. I get the joy every Tuesday and some Fridays of sharing this platform with Dave to talk to our producers about sales and marketing ideas to help grow their business, and really enjoy it and appreciate the opportunity to kind of do what I love to do most, which is interact with our customers and producers in the field. Thank you all for joining us this morning. Why don't we go ahead and get started if I can make this baby go. I'm going to run through a couple of things that most of you or many of you are probably aware of, some might not be. And you can see the screens before you. I'm not going to go point by point with it. Here I'll say about the new producer bonus. It's a very simple program. You join us in your first 180 days, kind of get a marketing reimbursement on steroids type of approach. You want to make sure that your start with us is good and that there's opportunity to further grow your business with one of our incentives, whether it's a trip to Ritz-Carlton with a guest, or my hope is that you take advantage of some of the ways that you can further grow your business. That could be radio, it could be seminars, it could be mailings. There's a lot of things that you can do. And what I want to say here is it could be something too that you have an idea that you want to try, or maybe something that you're already doing that we can make a commitment to help you grow your business even further. So don't hesitate to give your sales director or myself a call and say, hey, I want to take advantage of my new producer bonus and I want to use it for this. You can kind of get an idea of what some of these cash equivalents might be, and we're glad to commit that also towards an idea that you might have of your own. Oops. Skip the slide. So our RPM and marketing reimbursement programs, I think most of you, hopefully even if you've just joined us, are very familiar with these two programs, because I really like our sales directors to take some time and go through them with you. Marketing reimbursement, a lot of our competitors have it. We're maybe a little bit higher than most. We do 20 basis points on your annuity premium and equivalents on your life and single premium life and all the business that you do with us. Money goes into your marketing reimbursement account. You send us receipts and we match your spend dollar for dollar. So it kind of doubles the power of your marketing and gets you in front of more people. And right now, I don't know that there's been a better time probably in the last 10, 12, 13 years to get out in front of more consumers about the insured product realm of financial opportunities, because there's just never been a better time with a little bit of hubbub in the marketplace right now and a lot of volatility in the markets. And you couple that with steadily increasing interest rates. I say steady, there's really been nothing steady about it. It's been like a lightning bolt interest rate increases over the last 2 months, and even the pace has picked up even more rapidly here over the last 2 weeks. Every day we're getting increases in rates that are beneficial to you and your customers. So great time to be in this business, great time to let as many consumers know as possible, and we want to help you with that with marketing reimbursement. We also have a nice referral program. Our business over the last 35, 36 years has grown via referral. That's been the main way that we've grown our business. And so about 15 years ago, we began to reward that with our RPM program. And now they're some of the biggest checks that we send out. It's a simple program. You refer somebody to us, we do all the work, we get them recruited. They have benefit of everything that you have. Conventions are available, everything that we do, marketing reimbursement, even the RPM program is available to them. We take the money that we send you for as an appreciation for your referral each month, and we take that out of our advertising budget. What better place to take it from? Because obviously we'd rather send you the money, number one. And frankly, if we could not spend money on magazine ads, etc., and we could just send the money to you, that would be what we'd do all day long. And so we appreciate your referrals, and thank you for those. If you have somebody that you think might benefit from what we do here, whether it's the incentives or the service that we offer or training, the product scale, which is, I think, as good as anyone in the industry. If you know someone that could benefit from that you want to recommend to us, call me or call your sales director, and all you got to do is give us the name, give us some contact information, and we will take it from there. If they decide to get appointed, we're going to send you a check for that. But the real money comes when they start doing business, and we pay you an ongoing bonus. And those are, as I mentioned, some of the biggest checks that we send out. Thank you, by the way, for some of the folks on here I see this morning that have done referrals and are already getting some of those referral checks. Not only do we want to send you checks, we really appreciate the fact that you think enough of us to recommend us to a friend, and I want to make sure that you know that as well. We do Life and Annuity Academies have really picked up pace here in 2022. We did one in 2021. We'll do 4 here in 2022. We've done 2 already. We've got 2 more on the docket, maybe 1 here in Omaha as well, and we'll do 1 in November in Des Moines. Early November, by the way. So you can see what we cover there. If you have interest in joining us, I'm going to put this poll up quick, and I'm asking you all to do a quick answer for me. I think we've got that. If you are interested in getting the registration form for that, just to put yes on that poll, we'll send that out. You're not committing at all to the Academy, but what you are asking us to do is when we do have academies, at least to include you in the invites that we do, and that's the way that we do that. If you have registered your interest, that's when we invite you. If you haven't registered your interest, you don't get an invite to that. As you can imagine, we're paying all the expenses associated with attendance, and 95% of what we talk about is sales, marketing, and introducing you to ways to grow your business. They are very, very popular. And so we have no shortage of interest. But that being said, we want to give new folks that have not been into an academy in the past the opportunity to do that. So we do take care of your expenses. We'll put you in front of 4 or 5 top producers with some great ideas. We'll put you in front of the IAMS team that can give you some of the things that have worked well for some of our producers through the years in terms of sales and marketing. There'll be some carrier partnership there as well, where they'll want to go through and talk about product, which we think is very important and valuable. We'll talk about some of the things that are facing us in terms of, we're always facing a little bit of compliance headwind that we need to make sure that you're aware of and what's going on, and maybe even contribute to, making sure that your voice is heard with your local political leaders to make sure that they understand some of the outlook that we have as not only consumers of financial services, but providers of financial services. So we'll talk about that at our academies and encourage you in that way. We'll talk about suitability. I don't know if you raise your hand if you haven't had an issue with suitability that sometimes is just baffling, but we'll talk about that. And I'm guessing all of your no hands are raised at this point. I'm guessing nobody has been immune to having to have some very crazy conversations with your clients about suitability requirements and why we're having to get information that we didn't think we'd ever need to have to ask of them. So we'll talk about that a little bit. But so there's just some of the things that we talk about. It's you're going to be out of your office for 3 days. Usually we try and do it on a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Get you out on a Wednesday. We'll start right there Wednesday evening, have dinner and cocktails, and go through some meeting topics. We'll go all day Thursday and half a day Friday. Get you back, and as I mentioned, if you're driving, we'll reimburse your driving expense. If we need to arrange your flight, we'll take care of that as well. We have people coming in from all over the country for these events, and we love the opportunity for you to share with your fellow producers. We'll usually have 35 to 50 attendees, depending on the size of the venue that we have available. So and those always fill up with great producers just like yourself. We'd love to have you join us. If you're not able to answer the poll or whatever, looks like there's just 2 or 3 of you. Wow, that's really good voting. That's great. Maybe the folks that haven't been able to vote are not able to, or they're just joining us via phone. If that's the case, dial us at 800-255-5055. Ask for your sales director. Ask for any sales director. Just say, hey, send me the Academy registration form, and we'll get that right out to you. And thank you all. You've been great with voting quickly. I'm going to close that poll out here. Keep moving along. So Firelight, many of you, in fact, based on our business over the past 2 years, I would say most of you are already using e-apps in general. Firelight is for the insurance industry. It is the main platform for e-apps. Almost every carrier has their e-app available via Firelight. What we did, and we just got lucky with the timing, about 3 years ago, we put a single sign-on on our website that allows you to access all of the carriers that do Firelight on our website, which makes it a lot easier for you. You don't have to go trolling through 2 or 3 or 4 company websites in order to get what you need. You can access it all right on our website. There's other benefits to that. If you do an e-app with one of your clients here this year and next year, you want to do another e-app on it, you can do a cut and paste feature where you can get most of the information, not signatures, of course, but most of the information transferred over really easily. If you have to redo an application for whatever reason, which, with all the training and keeping abreast of that, and sometimes it happens more than we would like, but if that happens, you can do that cut and paste really easily too. So there's a lot of benefits to doing Firelight, but the biggest benefit I see right now to doing e-apps, beyond it being a nice professional way to present the way that you do business to your client, not having to worry about handwriting issues, is that companies are processing those e-apps ahead of their paper apps, and that means a savings of 3 to 5 business days right now on the front end. And most carriers will tell you right now that about 75 to 80% of their business is coming in via e-app. And so when you're doing a paper app and most of their apps are coming in via e-app and they're looking at those first, it even further delays that paper app business. I do believe that within 3 to 4 years, you probably won't be able to submit an app on paper anymore, or there'll be some notable penalty for submitting an app on paper because there's so many advantages, not just to you and to your client, but to these carriers of it. So take advantage of that. If you haven't registered on our website for Firelight, call your sales director. It's about a 2-minute process to get you registered. We approve it, and then you'll have access to all those apps out there. I hope you take advantage of that if you haven't already. Again, 800-255-5055. Ask your sales director and say, hey, I need to get on this e-app thing, and they'll get you set up. We've got a great advertising team here. They can help you grow your business, manage your brand, grow your brand in your area. I hope you'll call your sales director and ask to I'd say, hey, what can they do to help me? I think you'll be amazed with just what they can do and the quality that they do it with. That for you, and I always say this to them, it just seems like magic what they can do and how quickly they can do it. But if you haven't taken advantage of that with your sales director already, call them up and say, hey, I need to see what I can do to, whether it's a website or getting set up right on Facebook, or making sure your website has the proper tracking so that you can see who's visiting your website, or getting a better digital footprint. There's a lot of things that we can do to help you there. So take advantage of that. And most of that is done gratis. Some of it we use marketing reimbursement if we've got hard expenses associated with it, but we'll do whatever we can. We know when you're growing your business, it's growing our business. We want to make that easy for you. Retirement Analyzer is a great tool tool. We've been offering it for about 18, 19 years. Thomas Gold, Gold Solutions does a great job with that package. They do a great job of training. We do some training here to help our guys. And if you're doing business with us, we're going to make that available to you at our expense. So it saves you 70 to 80 bucks a month, and maybe more than that, depending on what level of service and what level of their platform that you want to take advantage of. I will say that our guys that have been using them for the past 2, 3, 4 years will not go back. I mean, they use them with all their clients, where they may have said, hey, I'm going to do this on my A clients and my B clients. Now they use it with all their clients. It just enhances your relationship. It makes it more steadier and more constant relationship, because they're kind of dependent on you to kind of track where they are on their retirement journey, what you can do with this. And there's some really great modules. There's a Social Security claiming module. There's a Roth conversion module. There's a business tracker and a return tracker that you can take advantage of as well. And there's a bunch of stuff out on this Retirement Analyzer toolkit beyond just the, hey, put the information in and get a recommendation out, that many of our guys have just become dependent on. And we frankly encourage that. We think it's a great way to make sure that you stay compliant and staying up with your client. And I think you'll find it will generate more business for you. And we'd love to take advantage of that. We love when our guys that do business with us take advantage of that at our expense. We've got an RIA, IAMS Wealth Management. More and more, we've seen folks kind of get where they're offering both securities and insured products. We think that's a great opportunity. We saw that part of our business grow intensely, really, the past 2 and 3 years as the market has continued to climb. And I think you're going to see that happen again. Obviously, the markets are leveling off and declining right now, but I think you're going to see people want to take advantage of the securities opportunities in the coming weeks, months, and years, and be able to handle that part of their business as well. Makes you twice, maybe 2.5, 3 times as valuable to them. We can assist you with that. We've helped folks grow their business from an insurance business to a wealth management and insurance business. So we're very, very practiced in helping many of you out there that may have just decided over the last 4 or 5 years to take advantage of that. So if you need some help with that, if you're thinking about it, you want to talk to somebody about it, give us a call here. We'll get Duncan on the line with you, or Charles on the line with you, and they can walk you through what they do, how they do it, what the expenses associated with testing and how they can help you with that might be. I think you'll be surprised by how easily you can grow that part of your business with IAMS Wealth Management. So we got the Greenbrier. We started off with a cruise, and then we had to change that because of the pandemic. And so we are going to the Greenbrier with a much larger group than what we expected. We took the qualification down a little bit, and it really expanded the number of folks that are going to go. Qualification just ended. We'll soon be announcing our next Top Producer Summit location and qualification there. But for those of you that were in the process of getting qualified, and wherever you're at on that, we want to help you see where you are, and we'll have those numbers. The final numbers for your end of June production should be available, if not later today, very early next week. And so give us a call. We'd love to tell you where you're finished up. As you can see, there are multiple tiers involved there. You can go to Washington on the front end, an extra day on the back end, the concierge level. A lot of reasons for you to be sure where you're at point wise. I know we've got some folks on here with us today that will make a difference too. So for sure, give us a call. And for those of you that are just getting started with us, the qualification for the new Top Producer Summit will effectively begin July 1. And so there's still plenty of time to qualify. So let's talk about Social Security maximization. I didn't do a real good introduction of Dave. I talked a little bit about his firm, Lazarus Coaching, but Dave has got many, many years in the business. He got in the business in the early 80s. He's both a securities producer and an insurance producer, very prolific on both sides. He's got a firm, Lazarus Coaching, where he does business coaching. He also has a firm of regular, Calton Associates is part of that as well. That's his broker dealer, and he's been growing his business steadily with us and throughout, using radio, using seminars, and he's been a very prolific marketer. He's been doing Social Security claiming seminars, and so has really grown that level of knowledge geometrically in the first years. He's been doing it now for about 10 years. In those first few years, he's grown it geometrically, but he's always been a steady learner, and he understands more about Social Security claiming than almost anyone that I know. And he's been a great resource for our producers throughout. So he's going to talk a little bit about Social Security claiming and how you go about gaining more knowledge and how you go about using that knowledge to help your clients and to grow your business further, whether it's via radio or seminars. And it's going to be, I think you're going to find it very, very valuable. And I think what you're going to learn as well is that there's really not been as good a time to get in front of your people regarding Social Security claiming via seminars than right now, because there's some pent up interest in the consumer space, and a lot of changes that in the Social Security claiming that a lot of consumers are wondering about and they need information about. So the seminars are getting full, and it's relatively inexpensive. So Dave will talk about that as well. So with that, Dave, are you with us here this morning?
Absolutely. How are you doing, Steve?
Very, very well. I'm sorry for dragging on there, but I want to make sure that they were aware of all the capabilities that you have,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that you have a couple other things that you might want to add to help them understand the benefit of what you can bring to the table regarding Social Security claiming. So I'm going to turn it over to you.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Steve. And this is going to be a 30-minute webinar. So, I mean, we're going to be done. There could be questions and stuff afterwards, but at 10 till the top of the hour. So this is not going to be a long webinar, but it's going to be pretty insightful in talking about Social Security claiming. And I will say this, Social Security, a lot of advisors, the majority of advisors, don't really understand Social Security claiming. And the reason is, and I've never heard this published or saw this published, but they're thinking, how do you make money out of helping someone with their Social Security claiming needs? Because people aren't normally going to charge per hour or per case. What happens is you're uncovering a lot of assets. To really understand when that person should take their Social Security, it's important that you go in. I call it the 5 pillars of income. You need to find out what their wages are, or sustainable income in retirement. You need to find out if they've got any other kind of sustainable income, like pensions or annuity type of lifetime income, rider income. That you have to find out what their assets are. Okay, like what is their 401k? What's in their 403b? What is in just yesterday? I mean, 350,000 on a deferred comp. Interesting. With his deferred comp plan, he's getting a guaranteed 2% interest, guaranteed 2% interest. And right now, I just called IAMS and I just said, hey, what's your best 5 and 7 year? And we're talking 4% plus. I can double the amount of. And he said on a guarantee, and I said absolutely. And I think this was with I got to think of but it was an insurance company that had it. I can't remember the name of it, but what happens is that
Ocean View there's a couple of
them. Yeah, you know what? Yeah, there is. Yeah, but you know what? He said, I know I'm not, because he's actually taking out 5.8%. He knows that he's going down in value, and but he just wants to. He's 80 years of age. That's kind of old for me because I'm kind of pre-retired or just retired. But it's interesting is that came into play. And when he originally came in, he said to me, he said, hey, I'm 80. I've never had I've had the same the same Social Security I'm pulling. He said, I'm sure I cannot make any changes, but I wanted to, he actually heard me from radio. He said, I want to hear what you have to say. That's how it started. And most of my people are 60, 61, 62. Here's a guy 80, and he's still wondering, is there any way he can maximize Social Security? That's what brought him in, and all of a sudden, now I'm bidding on $339,000 worth of business. So the only reason he came in was because Social Security caught his ear. So what we're going to do in the next now, it's going to be like 27 minutes. We're going to go on in, and we're going to talk about Social Security, and I'm going to talk a little bit about how it works, so you have a little better view. But then there's actually 3 ways that from IAMS through the Coach Dave Pimper myself, you can go in and really understand that. Hey, Steve, you're going the wrong way.
I'm not moving at all. I think.
You did. Did I do that?
Yeah.
Well, gosh. Okay. So you giving it to me? I'm trying to find.
There you go.
There. Am I down there somewhere?
There you
okay.
go.
Good. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you for helping me. Okay. Here we go. Most retirees get little advisor help on Social Security. Let me say that again. Most retirees get little, and I'm going to say virtually none, help on Social Security. And this is from Sarah O'Brien from CNBC, taken word for word. It says a majority of older Americans get none, zero, nada professional advice about a key part of retirement planning, and that is Social Security. Even if they work with a financial advisor, a recent study concluded, many times, I mean, multiple times, I have gotten business because I said, well, why didn't you go to your Jones broker? Why didn't you go to your Merrill Lynch broker? Why didn't you go to your independent insurance agent? Why are you coming to me? And I'll say, why? Well, they say, well, they don't know it. And then I will always say, well, do they hold themselves out to be a pre-retired and retirement planning advisor? Yes, they do. Well, how can you not know Social Security if that's who you're working with? And in the fixed income rider, IUL, in that world, most of the time it's for those people that are 50, 55 and older. That's who we work with. And that's a great demographics to work with because they've worked their whole life to have that money in that retirement plan or in that brokerage account or at that bank account. And so that's why and you can really help people within that arena.
Dave,
So
you
we're going to take
remember that stat that so recently there was a study, and the study basically said it was a study of consumers, and it was a big firm that sponsored it. I want to say like a Lincoln Financial that sponsored. They said that 73% of the people that responded to that study said that they would change their financial advisor based on their knowledge of Social Security. It's a really, really maybe more important than we think to a lot of folks. So I thought that was scary.
Yeah,
And telling.
Yeah, it's very much so. And remember this, one of the reasons I really like Social Security, because I was just telling Steve and I, Murray, who's on the phone, on the webinar with us and introducing myself and with IAM's CEO president, what happens is that I do a lot of seminar marketing in almost all of my seminars right now, and I have others, but Social Security has done just a very good job for myself and a lot of other folks. But we're going to put together a tax seminar because so many people are really concerned about taxes going up and really hurting them financially with inflation up and interest rates going up. And I will say this is that there's a lot of ways to market financial information to people, but there is no better way than one-on-one. And I say one-on-one, meaning it might be 1 on 20 or 1 on 15 from a seminar standpoint, but that is one of the 3 ways that we go in and we'll coach you up if you're doing Social Security seminars, but coaching you up, on that Social Security, paid for, fortunately, by IAM. So because I'm in the coaching business too, I've done production for 41 years. I started in actually on July the 9th of 81. So tomorrow would be exactly 41 years I've been in this industry. That's wild how quickly that happens. But Social Security is a unique animal. And I'll tell you right now, not many FMO field marketing organizations like IAM's, they'll have Social Security seminars, but they give you the blueprint and say, go get them. Or they'll have the marketing and go get them. We're walking you through and teaching you Social Security. And Steve, for the very first time, and you guys were down there because you're a partner with my broker dealer Calton. They had me come in. I know Chris Conroy, one of the wigs with you guys, came down and had a booth there and had some breakouts which were well attended. But I did a Social Security 2 breakout sessions. And what's interesting on that is that when I went through the broker crowd and did some of those questions we're going to do here for the test, it doesn't make a difference who you are. You can be Merrill Lynch, you can be a CPA, you can be a lawyer. Most people don't really have. So if you understand Social Security, interestingly enough, you are going to set yourself apart. And what I was going to say about the broker dealer, I opened it up and said, if you'd like to go in and get information and we get coached up, and I wasn't even going to do that, but it was kind of off the cuff, and I put a paper down, and there's a lot of interest in people that I'm coaching right now have said, hey, we've just never found a person that we could go to that would coach us up. And IAMS is really even doing it from a unique way where they're paying for your coaching if you do seminars or if you do radio. So that's a pretty good relationship to have with the advisor where something's being paid for, which is a real benefit, first certainly down the road. So we'll go in and let's talk about this real quick. This is only 1 in 300 seniors could ace this. So this is a test, and I want you to take this test with me, okay? So here we go. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim the benefit? I want you to write this down. Let's see how you do on those 5 questions. To maximize your monthly Social Security checks, at what age must you claim the benefit? This age is not full retirement age, but age of 70. And that's if you're single. Could be a little different if you're married and filing jointly, etc. But if for full retirement age, no. But age 70, that is the age of where you can maximize your benefit. Question 2. If I can get that. Thank you. What's the earliest age you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? What's the earliest you can receive survivor's benefits if you're not disabled? The correct answer is, write it down, it is age 60. That's the earliest. Discounted 28.5%, but you can get it. Question 3, does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Does your spouse need to receive benefits for you to qualify for spousal benefits? Yes or no? Pass the claim or not? Write it down. Yeah, they do. They do have to claim. You can't get a spousal benefit unless that spouse is taking their benefit. Question 4, can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Can divorced spouses receive spousal benefits? Yay or nay? Yep. Now, there is 4 stipulations. If you mark the yes, you got it right, but you got to name two of the things that have to happen. 2 of the things that have to happen or have to come into place to get this question right. What are the 2 of the 4 stipulations? Here are the stipulations. First of all, your marriage has to last 10 years or longer continuously. Can't be broken up. Secondly, unmarried. The ex can be married, but you have to be unmarried. Ex is at least 62, divorced for 2 years or longer. If those 4 things line up, you can take your spouse just as if you're married. Married couples have many more options. It may not help you, but it very well could. Okay? Are you eligible for survivor's benefits if you're divorced? So if you're divorced, the survivor benefits come into play. Yay or nay? Here we go. Yeah, they do. There are divorce benefits. And remember, those stipulations have to be met. So ask yourself, how did you do on that test? Most people get 1 or 2 right. If you get 3, then you do know some stuff unless you guessed on it. If you get 5 of them, yeah. And you can coach just like I'm coaching, but very few people do that because there just isn't a real good knowledge of Social Security in our industry. This comes from Jana Heron 3 years ago. It says, doing the thing with your Social Security could mean losing $100,000 in retirement. How much does claiming Social Security at the wrong time cost you? Retirees will lose an average of $111,000 in income per household over their lifetime. Why? Because they took Social Security benefits at the wrong time. Isn't that something? Get a load of this. Only 4% of retirees took Social Security benefits at the financially optimal age. Only 4%. What? Well, that means 96% did not. How about if you don't take it at the optimal age, you take it at a better age than what you were going originally because you talked with me? That's money in your pocket also. Steve, when you're talking to advisors and agents out there in your neck of the woods, what percentage of them do you think have a good grasp of Social Security claiming? If Steve's still around, he'll come back and I'm going to ask him that question. He must have just took a break. Yeah, pretty interesting. Social Security, I call it a stroll down memory lane, started in 1935 by Franklin Delano Roosevelt in the Social Security Act. First check was issued in 1940. 65 was the original age you could take Social Security. Want to hear something wild? In 1935, the average man lived to 59 and a half, and the average woman lived to 63. True. Now look how much older people are living. And full retirement age, the latest, is only 67. So 65 was the only age. In 61, under President Kennedy, you could go early and take it at a discount, get it earlier, and then in the early 80s, you could go in and delay it for a bigger benefit. Is it taxed? If you make enough money, it's taxed up to 85%. There's 50% brackets and 85% taxable brackets. A lot of FMOs want you to think that there's major Social Security reform all the time. There's not. Once every 7-8 years. Last one was in 2015, the Bipartisan Budget Act. If you have questions, please type them in. I'm more than happy to answer those for you. How important is Social Security? Well, it's vary. Almost 60% of all retirees count their Social Security benefit as the not a but the major source of income. Is that wild? That's why if you're working this age group, how can you not really understand Social Security claiming to give them advice? There's 3 important dates or ages that are important. Age 62, full retirement age, age 70. Full retirement age is where you get your full benefit. Depends, somewhere between 66 and 67 years of age, depending on what year you were born. If you take early, the benefit is you get it benefit now, but it's reduced for life. Age 70 or anything after full retirement age, it grows monthly up to the age of 70. Doesn't grow any after that except for cost of living, which everybody gets. Yeah, so what happens is that it increases. The longer you wait to take it, the bigger the benefit's going to be up to the age of 70. Okay? If you have any questions, just type them in. I will tell you, there's 3 different ways that IAMS and Dave Pimper, the coach, goes in and helps you learn Social Security. 2 are paid for by IAMS, the coaching is, and 1 is just a la carte, you pay on your own. So if you do a Social Security seminar, we guarantee 35 signups. 35 people will sign up to attend. We guarantee that. If not, then we pro-rata your money back to you. Okay? We coach you on 3 Social Security coaching sessions on that Social Security workshop, and IAMS pays for it. They pay me. They pay me to coach you. Retirement Boss Radio, it's a radio show, an hour radio show, as long as you've got 100,000 people or more in your metropolitan area. Yeah. If it fits for you, we coach you up on Social Security there also. IAMS pays me to coach you up on 3. No charge to yourself. Why do I coach you up on that? 35-40% of all the questions come in from Social Security. And the third way is you say, hey, look, I don't need the marketing or don't want to pay for the marketing, or I already got so many appointments or prospects I don't need anymore. Most people, that's not the case. But if it is, yeah, you just say, look, and instead of 3 coachings, there's 4 coachings. They're $200 a piece, $800. And you can use me not just during coaching, but anytime after on any of those programs for as long as you want to with any Social Security questions. So it's quite a resource for yourself. Can it have a huge value? Social Security be darn right if you claim at your right time. Not the right time, not a right time, but your right time. Now, this is actually a year old. It came out just about a month ago for 2021, and there was a net decrease. First time in 39 years. First time in basically 39 years, almost 40 years, there was a decrease of 56 billion off of about 2.9 trillion of in the trust fund. And it will run out in the year 2035. But what happens is that there's going to be changes. And how is there going to be changes? Well, what's going to low? I don't even know what I did there. So let's go back in and go back to this here. I'm sorry about that. Is there going to be changes? Yeah, there's going to be some kind of increase in taxation. Maybe the 6.2% that for payroll taxes the employee pays might go up to 7%. There could be some other taxations. Maybe higher income people will pay. There could be I'm not in favor at all of reducing or eliminating COLA. That would be horrible. But what happens is there's going to be some kind of, or it could be longevity. Maybe you don't start FRA full retirement age at 67. Maybe it starts at 70. My kids, 30 and 32, they don't think Social Security is going to be around anyway. I mean, they don't care. We care because I'm 67. I'm taking Social Security. I don't want to be affected. But our kids, I mean, they don't think it's going to be there. Facts, it's a pay-as-you-go system. Payroll taxes doesn't pay it all, but about 86% of all of the money that goes into the trust fund is through payroll taxes. The other is through interest on the bonds or IOUs because they borrow against those, and taxation is the other 14%. Is it a Ponzi scheme? Absolutely not. So figuring out it gets complicated, but you need 40 quarters of coverage or 40 credits. They're called 40 credits. It's all done off of income. So $1,510 in 2022. If you make $1,510, you get a credit. If you make $6,040, that's 1,510 times 4. You get 4 credits. They don't have to be earned each quarter, just in the year's time. Most credits you can earn in a year is 4. The more you make up to 147,000, you don't put into the system after 147,000. So 95% of all people make under that. But that's where those quarterly credits. So you need 10 years at four a year at 10 is 40 quarterly credits. If you have 39, it isn't prorated. You get nothing. 94% of all Americans have a Social Security benefit. So a lot of people have it. They take your 35, not your 5, but your 35 highest inflation-adjusted years of earnings. Remember, COLA was 5.9% this year. Pretty darn big deal. FRA, full retirement age, if you're born from 43 to 54, it's 66. I was born in 55, April of 55. So what happens is my full retirement age is 66 years and 2 months. If someone's born in 56, 4 months, 57, 66, 6. 1960 or later, 67. A newborn born today, 67. Interesting. If you take early, it's reduced anywhere between 25 and 30% if you take at the age of 62. It starts ratcheting up from there. If you wait after full retirement age, you're guaranteed 8%. 8% a year. That's a lot. I have a benefit, a pretty good benefit, around a $3,000 benefit. And last year, cost of living was 5.9. I had my first year of delayed retirement credits, 8%. That's 13.9. 13.9 on $3,000 is $417. My benefit grew for the rest of my life, $417, just like a mini pension. This year, we think it's going to be higher than 5.9. I think it could be 7.5% easy. Right now, year over year is 8.6. I think it'll go down a touch, but I tell you, I bet it's over 7. In 2 years, I'm going to have a benefit of nearly $900 increase in my Social Security benefit. How about them apples? You can't get that anywhere else, and that's guaranteed by the U.S. government. So I'm a believer if you know the individual benefit, which we just went over, and remember this, when you're coaching, if you coach with me, we'll go much more into depth, much more role-playing. There's attachments with every single thing I talk about that I get to you. There's we're just really going in depth. We're role-playing. But if you know the individual benefit, and then spousal benefits, survivor, divorced, and restricted application, which is phasing out towards its end now in the last 18 months, but you really can answer about 80% of your questions. So if you're married, and it says Dave's PIA, PIA stands for Primary Insurance Amount. That's the Social Security amount at your full retirement age. So PIA, Primary Insurance Amount, is $2,400. Amy's PIA Primary Insurance Amount is $1,000. Dave takes his, Amy takes hers. Dave gets $2,400. The lower earning spouse can take all of theirs or half of the spouse's, in this case Dave's, her husband, whichever is higher. Well, what's higher? Half of Dave's. $200 higher is $1,200. Beats 1,000 by 200. And how Social Security looks at this is that Amy takes 1,000 of her own benefit and has a spousal top up of 200. Spousal benefits. How about divorced spouse? There's a lot of divorced people. Remember, your marriage had to last 10 years? What are the 4 stipulations? Marriage lasted 10 years. All those stars and moons have to line up. Marriage lasted 10 years. You are currently unmarried. Not the ex, but you are. X is at least 62. Marriage, the divorce was 2 years ago or longer. 2 years ago or longer. If those 4 things line up, what happens is you can claim your ex just as if you're still married to them in the eyes of Social Security. And that's important because there's many more options. Now, whether the option helps you at the time, that's a different story, but there are more options for married couple than non-married couple. If you have any questions whatsoever, certainly type them in. We'll be more than happy to answer. Survivor, as my wife says, no one gets out of here alive. Maybe spiritually you live forever, but not physically. Dave's benefits $2,000, Amy's benefits $1,200. Let's say they're both full retirement age or older, so there's no discounting. Who normally dies first? Guy does, 75% of the time. Dave kicks the bucket. Amy now has the option. She can keep her benefit, not take Dave's. Well, that's stupid because it's $800 higher. She could drop her benefit and take Dave's. She gets an extra $800. She can't take both the $2,000 and the $1,200. She can't take a deceased person's benefit and their own. You can't take 2 benefits at the same time with Social Security. So what's she going to do? She's dropping hers and jumping up to Dave's. Remember this, an individual benefit that we talked about a couple 10 minutes ago, it has to be asked for. They don't know when you want to start. Only you know that. It has to be asked for. Spousal benefit, it's awarded automatically. I would double check it, but it's awarded automatically. Don't have to ask for it. Survivor's benefit, you got to ask for it. Divorce benefit, you got to ask for it. If you don't ask, you don't get. It's biblical. If you don't ask, you don't receive. And what's cool about survivor's benefits, and it works with survivor divorced benefits, you can do a file and suspend. You can start one benefit and suspend yours and turn it on later. If it's after full retirement age, there's no discounting. That's cool. So there's still, file and suspend was done away in the Bipartisan Budget Act of 2015, implemented in 2016, but it's still around for survivors, widows, and widowers' benefits. Also, you can take the widow's benefit and let yours grow, or take yours and let the widow's benefit grow. Now, you don't want to let the widow's benefit grow any longer than full retirement age because you don't get those 8% a year guaranteed delayed retirement credits on a survivor benefit after full retirement age. You do on your own, though. See, there's a lot of spinning plates, and I'm not saying that you'll understand every single bit of that, but when we get done, when we go in and we get done coaching, no, then you would. Remember, there's 3 ways to coach. 2 are paid for. If you do seminars, Social Security seminars, it's paid for. If you go in and you do Retirement Boss Radio, an hour radio recorded show each weekend, we pay for your Social Security coaching. And if you want to do it a la carte, it's $800. But where do you find someone within the industry that is going to do that? Just truly nowhere. It just isn't going to happen. So coordinating spousal benefits, restricted application doesn't happen much anymore because you have to be born before January 2nd of 54. If you're not born before January 2nd of 54, you cannot do this. So even myself, who's 67, you got to be like 68 years and 7 months right now. And you only have till you're 70. But you're able to go in and you start your benefit. The spouse who doesn't have as much money starts the benefit. That's required. And you're going to delay your benefit, the bigger one. Here in this case, Dave's going to delay his $2,400. He can go out and reach and get $500 from Amy. That's a spousal benefit, $6,000 a year. That's it's a pretty big deal. There would be about $9,000 or $10,000 you could still do free money before someone turns that age, is born on January the 2nd or 54 or earlier. So you don't see it much anymore, but there's still restricted application. Any questions? Certainly type them in. Social Security Administration can't do. They can't give you advice. I called my lawyer, my CPA, and my banker, all of them sharp dudes. And I want to know who they referred their business to because I'd like to get that referral business. And they said everybody said they referred to the Social Security for advice. They can't give advice. The Social Security Administration give your best benefit, highest benefit now. we give advice. This comes right from their operational manual that they go in and how they give their answers. They say for the Social Security client personnel, provide enough information so that claimants can make informed choices, but do not give advice. Wild. They give you highest, best benefit right now, can't give advice. When you look at the income streams, and I like to look at the 5 pillars of income, Social Security is not a standalone income stream. It's how it conduits with the other 4 income streams. Most flexible, claiming at your right time, not the right time. And the survivor benefit, don't forget about that on the break even. Somewhere between 78 and 82 is your break even, no matter when you claim. So there's wages, pensions, income producing assets like 401ks, IRAs, 403bs, deferred comp, banks, real estate, just all different things. RMDs at 72 or more on traditionals. And then how Social Security really complements those. But when I'm fact finding, I find out number 3, I found every asset they have. And I work with a lot of partial investments, bunch of investments to consider, tons of investments to consider. I told you there's 3 ways to get coached up. Through seminar marketing, a radio show that we have those platforms, and they're successful. They're proven processes for marketing, or just for social security coaching sessions, just a la carte on their own. There's an old saying that says, procrastination is my sin. It brings me constant sorrow. I really shouldn't practice it. Perhaps I'll stop. Tomorrow never comes. We're going to put a poll up, and I do this procrastination slide just for that. I do it in my workshops too. If you heard something today, if you say, you know what, I should get a little more information on Social Security. Well, then you need to mark yes on this poll. And this poll, if you mark yes, Brady Pelzer will give you a call, and he's going to line up a time that's good for you and it's good for me, in about 15, 20 minutes to talk about Social Security and how maybe it can impact your business. So, Steve, if you're there, and he's probably going to come right back, but we need to put that poll up. But I will tell you this right now. Most people don't look at Social Security as an income generator for their business. How wrong they could be. Very few people want to go in and put the time in. There's a little bit of work. You know, when I'm coaching you, you're gonna know much more. But there's a book we want you to read. It's a $20 book you buy. There's knowing Social Security, I'm going to tell you right now, it will set you apart in your neighborhood, in your part of the town, as that expert. And a lot of people want guidance of when to take their Social Security claiming benefit. So, Steve, I'm going to, as we're kind of people are filling this on out, hopefully we'll get a bunch of yeses, as we always do. But I want to see if there's any questions or anything more that we need to cover before we put the seminar to bed.
Sure. We got a couple of things. Can you hear me all right?
Perfectly.
Oh, good. So there's a couple questions regarding applying for benefits before full retirement age. You know, obviously, if you take your benefit, the earlier you take your benefit, the benefit is reduced. But there were a couple people had questions on that. And is that something you could walk through again and make sure that everybody's on the same page on it? We're looking at like slide 28. I don't know if you can see that on your end or not.
And tell me, they just want to know when a benefit will be reduced for Social Security.
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. So remember, there's 3 ages. Full retirement age is when you get your full benefit. If you take earlier, you can take early as age 60, an individual or married. If you're widowed or you're survivor, you can take it early as 60 as 62 if you're individual, but 60 if you're survived. It's discounted. And those discounts will run between 25 and 30 for individual benefits. 25 to 30. You'll run between 5 and 35 for spousal. So the discounting is if you take earlier than full retirement age. Your benefit will not be discounted any if you wait to full retirement age. So it's just taking earlier than full retirement age. That's where the discount comes in.
Got it. So talk a little bit. Let's see. There's a few questions here that I just want to try and do my best to get them all get all the questions answered with
Okay.
just
All right.
one question to you. So I would say just generally, we talked a little bit about seminars, and I
Hmm.
think if you would go through that seminar process, because there's confusion about costs of seminars, confusion about what we offer in terms of presentation, confusion about what is available to them based on the cost. And I know we run into this. Can you just walk the team through that, and then
Sure.
yep.
Sure. Given 552 public seminars since 19. Actually, I started in 81, but didn't start doing seminars until 84. And that's it sounds like a lot, but I've never stopped. I mean, I do them every single year, 15 to 20 a year seminars. And I've done all kinds of different seminars, but Social Security has been the most successful by far. I talked about that we're adding a tax seminar. Well, I'm not stopping Social Security. I'm going to still do Social Security. I'm just adding, and I want to see how taxation is kind of a hot topic right now. With everything, the turmoil we're in kind of financially as a country, and there's just been a lot of interest about, hey, how can I save on my taxes here? What happens is that I put together. It's proprietary, meaning you can only get it through IAMS, okay, through Dave Pimper Coaching, and I put the Social Security, and IAMS did all the artwork and the creative, which they have just a wonderful. Jacob does a wonderful job. They've got a pretty good size for an FMO. I mean, it's basically an advertising agency that they have in house, and they did all the slide work. A lot of those that you saw today is part of that. But that Social Security seminar is 44 slides, and I coach you through. And I'm a big believer of how you start it and how you end it. That's about 50% whether you're going to get the business or not. How you start it and how you end it. But the cost is $2,750, and you're guaranteed 35 people that will guarantee that are guaranteed for signups. For attendees. So what happens on those signups? If we don't get 35, then we prorate back your money to you. And so we're trying to get 10 appointments. And our goal, not everybody does it, but the better you get, I mean, 10 plus appointments, out of that, which is about $270 an appointment, which is pretty darn reasonable coming in and talking to you, and we're uncovering things. So that seminar, the coaching, it isn't just coaching on Social Security, but it's also Lynn and Natalie, Amy in our office. They help you with. We do all the marketing. We have a third-party Facebook marketing, which I always did hard copy, but we've had very good success. Amazing how many people look at Facebook, and we do it's just a complete process A through Z. $2,750. And if you go out and shop that around, I'm not saying you couldn't find something less expensive, but that's extremely competitive in today's marketplace. And you know what? There were more people doing seminars before the pandemic. There's lesser people now. There's lesser competition. It's just a great time to start, your marketing process because people they want education. They want to get taught. And Social Security is one of the things where they're not going to be taught by the government. They don't do any seminars, but I think you'll see some really plus things when it comes to people coming in and the information education that you can do with them. It really opens them up when you have that appointment with them.
Man, your success and the success of so many of our guys is a testament to that. I think what confused people was basically the Social Security educational part of it is at no expense, or we pay that expense. So the ongoing cost, the initial cost and ongoing cost is $2,750 to get 35 registrants. Now you might get more than that, you might get 60 or whatever, but you're going to get 35 minimum registrants for that cost of $2,750. And yes, that is normally 2 days. So Dave, you do use Tuesday, Thursday. Is that kind of the pattern that you use?
I like Tuesday, Thursday first, but Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, any of those days in combination, and we want to do them within a week of each other, from the same mailing. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I personally like Tuesday, Thursday the best, but I've had Mondays. Mondays used to be a bad day. I've done several Mondays in the last 4 or 5 months, and all of them have been really, really good. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, any one of a combo of those within a week of each other, I think works very well.
Yep. So a lot of questions on seminars. So yes, Dave makes the full presentation available to you. You'll have a recording of Dave doing the presentation. Most of the presentations are done in a learning format, like at a library or community college or what have you. So Dave, have you done Social Security seminars with meals? I can't remember.
Say that again.
Have you ever done a Social Security seminar with a meal?
Yeah. Oh, I have. Yeah. I'm not a lot of them, but I have. And I thought I would just try it. I mean, I was having pretty good attendance. I thought, I wonder if I can increase my attendance a bunch. So I did 4 of them back to back to back. This is no kidding. Both of those, because we do 2 seminars off of one $2,750 campaign. Both of them, I got people there, but I got less people there than not offering the meal. That's interesting, almost counterintuitive, but it's interesting. So I didn't have the success with dinners as I did just offering them, cookies or donuts and water and coffee.
Interesting. So Tom, hopefully that answers your question there. If you have another question or something about that, let us know. Dave, we had no, oh, look at that. I was going to say we have no questions about radio, and then somebody had put one in since I last spoke.
Okay.
So radio show. So what I can do is I will, I chatted out www.retirementbossradio.com, and we can go there now. In fact, let's do that really quick. Maybe. There we go. So what you see before you is www.retirementbossradio.com. That's actually Dave's website for Retirement Boss Radio. And if you go down, it's got some good information here, obviously, about that. But if you go down, you can actually listen to some of his radio shows right here. So you go back to his most recent one, July 2nd, and I think you probably, there you go. You go all the way back to 2020. I don't know how many of those can house. I think you've been doing it longer than that, but you can go all the way back and listen to some of those shows. A lot of people say, well, yeah, that's what Dave sounds like, but they've got a full production. The costs associated with that include everything that you need to sound just like Dave, from the software to the physical setup to the production and the assistance, show notes, etc. You're going to be pleased with what your radio show sounds like. Dave, I know you don't like to choose between your children, but if you were going to say, hey, I like radio or seminars best, what would you choose right now?
What I like best? I think seminars, they're an easier intro to the business, because it's the same slides over and over and over and over. With radio, you have a new show notes every single week, and you have to study those show notes. It takes a little more time. Other than that, I think of just putting dollars, just production on the books. I would say seminars. I would say for the bigger dollars have come in from radio. So, you know what I mean? In radio too, you shouldn't do a one and done in any kind of marketing. But can you do one seminar, a couple seminars off of one campaign, not do another one in 3 months? You bet. Can you do the radio? People forget about you. It's kind of, you got to do it over and over, the consistency every single week. So they kind of complement each other. I think the entry is a little less expensive normally with a non-dinner seminar at $2,750. Most of the radios are running at $3,000 to $4,000. So it's a little higher entry per month, not a lot, but like a dinner seminar, that's about the cost of it. But I like working them both together. But I think seminars are a little easier. I think that radio brings in a little more money.
Got it. That's a good recap. So hopefully that answers your question about that. And I would say in general, some people I think get the Social Security seminars are probably the easiest seminars that you could ever do. It's more of a teaching mode than it is like a showman's mode that you see with some seminars that get done. And there's no reason to be scared of radio. That everything is done. Not everything, but a lot of the stuff is done for you and put into place and makes it a lot easier. And if you listen to a podcast, you'll see kind of how that goes. And Dave and his team do a great job of coaching you through every step. And I can't say how invaluable that's been to our producer group, because there's silly mistakes that you can make along the way that can really impact your results. And it's hard when you impact your results negatively with some mistakes, which you're going to make early, and then all of a sudden, a lot of what you had hoped to accomplish with your it seems like it's out of reach when really it's just a matter of not doing everything just right. So Dave's team really helps you do everything just right from the get-go. If you will follow the path laid out initially, you'll have success. Everybody likes to put their touches to it, and some things they think are valuable or invaluable. But I always say, at least for the first couple or three, whether it's radio or seminar, just follow the path. Do exactly what Dave suggests, and you're going to get results that will you'll say, hey, this ROI is pretty good for my business. I'm meeting more people, and you all know that when you meet people and you can add a customer, that's a customer for life. That's somebody that's going to pay dividends to you and your business for years to come, and build a great relationship. Dave, I've got a couple other questions here about our website, which I'm glad to just direct people on where they can see these podcasts, or not podcasts, the webinar recordings on that. Is there anything that you want to add? I'm going to let you roll. Is there anything you want to add before we close up here?
Well, we had a lot of folks that were on the program today, and I mean, virtually everybody stayed on and wanted that information. Social Security can be important. I mean, if you don't really understand Social Security, you don't understand the power that it has when you're giving people. I mean, for one of their major decisions when they retire, it's a very, very important decision, and it isn't nearly as strong when you go out and get it from someone else and when you ask the questions. But yeah, let me coach you up. I think you'd be surprised of some of the money that you'll uncover. So hopefully we'll talk to a lot of folks, and I'll turn it over back to you, Steve. But everybody have a great weekend.
Thanks, Dave. You as well. I'm going to show them our website, and then we'll sign off here. Okay. Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Bye. Okay, so there were a number of questions about, can I get a recording of this event, or want to see the slides again? So I want to take you all just really quick. This is our website, which I chatted to you, www.imzinc.com. And if you go right up here, this is the front page. I'm not going to full screen. Well, maybe I can full screen it. Let me get bigger. This is the front page of our website. We've got a lot of good stuff here, but right up here is where you'll find our YouTube page, and I'm going to click it and see what happens. Yep. So it takes you to our library, and you can see it's very, very extensive. A lot of good stuff out there. And some of these webinars are 20 minutes, and some are like this one, closer to 45 minutes, an hour. And you can see we've done Social Security a number of times. And there's something different in all of them. Here's what I would say is that the value of having this at your fingertips is great. What you can do, as you guys know, if you've joined us on our webinars, we spend about the first 10 minutes of the webinar. We talk about IAMS and what we do and the programs that we have, because we want to make sure everybody knows about them. And a lot of times, if you join us on webinar after webinar, you're like, oh, I've already heard that. So if you look at the recording of a webinar, and I'll go here. I don't think we do much in the way of anything on the front end of this. So I guess there was. So what you can do is kind of scroll through. If you're familiar with our programs, you can kind of scroll through that and go right to kind of the sales idea or subject matter. Shut that down. So you can go right to the program. So you can save yourself a little bit of time and usually that time frame, about 10 minutes in or 12 minutes in, will get you past that. So little trick of the trade. And after every webinar that you join or you register for, you'll get an email, and that email will say, hey, you signed up for this webinar. Here's the opportunity to click and view that webinar specifically, which you can do. Almost all of our webinars, any that they will allow us to keep recorded out on our YouTube website. Sometimes carriers don't want them posted for the long term because rates change. They don't want that information out there. But any that we can are going to be out on our website right here. And it usually is same day. Sometimes it's early the next day before that's on there. But for instance, if you go back and you look at the website, and let's say, for instance, you were interested in hearing this one. If you go back, we post them most regularly. So, just like 2 weeks ago, you can look at this webinar from 2 weeks ago, or there should have been another one probably last week. I just can't remember. But there's multiple copies of some of these webinars out there that you can listen to. And some other things, the preset appointment one's very popular, as you can see. A lot of things that we do. that maybe you missed the webinar and you can go and listen to these at your leisure. There really some good stuff out there. This Roth IRA conversion one, partial Roth conversion one, very popular. So that good ones to look at. So I took you to Dave's website. You can hear a couple of his podcasts. He didn't know that he records those in half-hour segments. And basically it's two 15-minute segments to make a half hour, and then those are all drawn together for a total hour show, which is once per weekend. He does his on Sunday morning or early Sunday afternoon. I think they're out at noon on a Sunday, which is a good time slot. Sometimes you're earlier on a Sunday or Saturday. Those, depending on the area, those can work out very well too. But if you want to hear a podcast of those are great to listen to. And I think you'll see that there's really a lot of opportunity in radio. Dave was kind of tending towards maybe a seminar because those are particularly hot right now. There's a lot of pent-up desire out there for people to get information on Social Security claiming because we've been 2 or 3 years without a lot of seminars on it. So there's opportunity there. But he's seen over the past, he's been doing radio now for 3 years, and he's seen a nice increase in his business, just to kind of the base of his business over those 3 years, because he's recognizable now. He's recognizable in his community. He's recognizable on the radio. He's recognizable when you send out a seminar invite. They say, "Oh yeah, I've heard Dave on the radio." So there's a credibility factor that goes with that. And you can't discount the fact that now when he's walking around town, people know what he does for a living. So if they have a question or need something, I mean, he does get people stop him. It takes some time and effort on the radio side to build that up, but there's definitely some truth to it that then you become kind of a resource in your community for information around financial planning when you've been on the radio. So good stuff there. You've all been very kind to join us today, and very kind to answer our poll questions and ask questions. I'm just going to make sure. Oh, shoot. I apologize. Okay, so now you should see before you the website. I'm going to go back to Dave's here as well, just so you can see that. But this is I'm going to go back one step. The home. So this is where you see it on this is the IAMS website, IAMSinc.com. And right here is where you access the YouTube channel. You go there, and then you can see where we've got a pretty good stable of all of the webinars. Many of you probably already looked at the recordings of our webinars, but a lot of really good stuff out there, whether it's regarding Social Security claiming, radio, Roth conversions, all some really good stuff. So I would access that and take advantage of it at every opportunity. And just so you know, here's Retirement Boss Radio. I sent that to you as well, www.retirementbossradio. When you go to Retirement Boss Radio, this is what you're going to see initially. And then if you just scroll down, it's almost at the bottom. That's where you can actually look at and listen to these podcasts from Dave. Basically, these are two, each one of these, for instance, this will show July 2nd. Well, he actually, 2 of these half-hour segments is strung together to form a 1-hour show. And so when you listen to them, you'll kind of see how that works. If you have any questions, we'd love to help. We're here at IAMS, 800-255-5055. We're here to help you. You've got great sales directors. When you call, you're going to get an answer of a live body. It's going to be pretty quick. We're going to get you in touch with somebody that can help you. That's our goal, and we're pretty good at meeting that standard here. So give us a call. Let us know how we can help you. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Steve Murray. Love to chat with you myself. My favorite part of the day is when I get to talk with the folks that like yourself that really make things go around here. And so always look forward to building relationships with the producers in the field that are making things happen. So whatever we can do to help you, give us a call, 800-255-5055. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. You all have a great finish to your week here today, and have a great weekend as well.